tell us a little bit about how you met Miss Mary Newton, who is actually Tamara's mother?
At the time, her name was Mary Mitchell, and we had been living on campus, but me and two of my homeboys from my hometown, we got an apartment in Methodist home. At the time, she was was living with her brother, who was going to Paul Quinn all the time. Also, she was living with him in the next apartment over. And several times, her brother would be going to class earlier, and she didn't have a way to class, so she commuted with me because I had transportation. And we began to date at the time, and one thing led to another, and we ended up getting married in '71.
Okay, so you got married in 1971, and you end up having your first daughter, Timron, in 1970. Did you name Timron, or was that a name that y'all came up with together? Or?
I named Tamara. I chose that name because of an actress I knew that was in the black movies in those days, black exploitation movies in those days. And I liked that name. And at the time, Tamara was born in San Marcos, Texas. We were married in Luling, which we were married in San Marcos because Mary was from Luling, but they didn't have court systems there or hospitals. So that's where we were married, and that's where Tamara was born. And we moved back to Paul Quinn, where I came out of school and Mary stayed in, and I kept the baby while she went to school, and I worked at night at a bomb factory making bomb casings for the war, just before the war ended. This was 70 and 71. I was working there. And we made bomb casings for a bomb, and that was 71. And well, she came out of school, and because we were struggling there, we moved to Fort Worth, Texas, where I could get a better job and a better apartment and take care of them, because Tamara was growing up then. She was going on maybe 2. So we moved there, and I got a job there.
So you moved to Fort Worth, and do you remember like around what year you moved to Fort Worth?
It was, I'm thinking it was 71, 72, right at the end in the mix there, right after the marriage, because January, Christmas we were married, 70. We went back to Waco. Christmas we were married in 70 on Christmas Eve. We went to Crockett, stayed with my parents, where they made me show a marriage license before we could sleep together in the house. And after Christmas we went back to Waco, stayed in the apartment in January, and we left there at the end of May, at the end of the semester. We left and moved to Fort Worth in May, the end of the semester.
So during that time, was life kind of normal, like as far as being involved every day, just in and out of work? I assume it was normal. We get to a point where we get to just some quotes later in life, where an article from ClosureWeekly.com, Tamara was quoted saying her grandfather was a sharecropper. She goes on to say, my biological father was not around, so the first dad I had was my grandfather. We lived in a shotgun shack with my mom. In a February 2020 issue of Guidepost, Tamara stated that her mom remarried when she was 8. She also recalled how she loved going to Eckerd Drugs in her hometown of Louis. Now that I know there may be some conflicting points in that. Is that an accurate statement, or do you consider that to be accurate as far as her grandfather being a sharecropper?
As far as her grandfather being a sharecropper, I'm not familiar with that. I know he worked at a grocery market where he made sausages and worked behind the meat counter, and he made Luton ring sausages. Tamara was at her grandfather's house maybe 2 months. She was born September the 16th. She stayed there. I went back to Waco. I came back and got them and went back to Waco. And we stayed in the apartment. We came back to Luling during the Christmas holidays, visited her dad, her granddad. We got married, we left and went to Crockett. When we came back from Crockett, we went back to Waco where we had an apartment. We left Waco that May, went to Fort Worth where we got an apartment. And it was a very nice apartment, one of the upscale apartments that was considered upscale. It was the Lee Holland. It was up on a tall, semi-like mountain hill or something. And we both had cars. Me and her mother both had cars. I was working. Her mother was working. We were living a very good life at that time for just coming to Waco. Better than some people who had been there. We had everything we wanted. We had food. We had a nice apartment. We dressed nice. Tamara had all the devices she wanted. She traveled with me and spent much time with me as far as going out. When I went out, all the guys in the neighborhood knew her. When I would go by and visit friends in the apartment, she could walk in with me. We'd sit around the pool. They'd just be giving her money and stuff. I'm like, little cash, and we would go back home. As far as a shotgun, living, raised in house, I hate to put it out there, but all that's untrue. That's untrue. And as far as her mother remarried when she was 8, I was still married to her mother when she was 8. We had been separated around when she was 8 or 9. But as far as her mother getting married when she was 8, she was a teenager when her mother actually married this guy, because Tamara has a brother that was conceived by not her stepfather, but another guy after me and her mother separated. And the period of, not exactly the period of time between her and this other guy, but the numbers, the dates, and the time, and the actual way of being brought up with not having, totally false. Totally false. I have no idea why you want to create a distress thing. I guess it's stardom. Like some of the rappers say, like Big Smile, or whatever would say, he didn't have anything to eat, blah, blah, blah. And to come out, his mother say, they had food in the house, was running out the refrigerator. You don't know how that got in the rap, but to get the street height of the rap, I guess you have to do those things, to say some things, which is totally disrespectful to me and towards actual situation, gives people the wrong idea. Plus, there are people out there who know, because I was well known and I was well liked, and she was well liked. And day to day, people want to know why, and I can't say nothing but I have no idea.